guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Brittany and I'm a content creator providing content creation tips and tricks for new and beginning content creators, UGC creators, and I also provide a little bit of productivity tips in the mix as well. The topic of today's video is filming and editing. So if you need any type of tips, beginner tips for filming and editing your video, this is the place you need to be. So let's get right on into it. I think we should talk first about the filming basics. So the quality of your videos is definitely the filming setup that you have. So I can kind of break down what you need and what will be essential for your filming setup. So some things to keep in mind with your filming setup. One, lighting is key. If you have good natural light, that is fine. If not, have some type of artificial light like a ring light, a box light, or something where you can have some type of lighting, because dark videos don't do well, and if you try to edit them to, like just turn the brightness up, you can kind of tell that the brightness is turned up. Whereas if you do have natural or artificial light, you can adjust the brightness, contrast, all that, and it looks, make it look a little bit more crispy because you already have good lighting in the video. Another thing I would suggest when it comes to lighting is having the position kind of in front of you, so it's not to the right of you or the left of you, and you see the shadow on the other side because there's not a light. You just have a ring light like I do, and not very good natural light. Definitely keep it kind of in front of you to avoid shadows in the back. And I've also mentioned before, I have this lighting in the back that kind of can help a little bit with that as well. But make sure you have it to where you don't see shadows. So do like a test shot, make sure you don't see any shadows or anything like that when you're filming your videos. And now this goes with cameras and phones. If you're filming on your phone like I am, make sure you have something to stabilize the device with, whether it is a camera or a phone. I use a tripod. I have an attachment for my phone, so I can use my phone, or I can detach that and just put my camera on that. And so either way, I have some type of tripod that I'm filming on when I sit down to film, because we don't want, unless we're doing it on purpose, like if we're just walking with the camera or vlogging or anything, we don't want it to be shaky, especially if we're like sitting down. So we want everything to be stable when it comes to that. So make sure you have your good tripod. They also have like the smaller ones that you can take with you, or you just have a tripod set up anywhere you're trying to film. Another thing I would suggest when it comes to your filming setup is to make sure you have a nice background. Mine is pretty very like on the basic end, because I don't have a lot of like decor or decorations up yet. But don't make it, if you have trash that needs to get put up, thrown away, handle that before you sit down and record. Make sure you don't have any like the things that'll be distracting, or things that you honestly wouldn't probably want in the shot anyway. Make sure it's not in there, because when it comes time to edit, you might not be able to edit it. And if you have edit it out, and if you have like a good piece of footage or something, you're gonna probably want to get rid of it because of that. So just make sure you have nice background. If you're going to be filming a sit down video or something, make sure there isn't any distraction. Sure, if you want to, you can add like a little ambiance to that and light a candle that's in your background or in frame somewhere. But yeah, just make it comfy, make it cozy, especially if you're doing sit down videos, because I know it's a different story when you're vlogging and being out and about. To me, I feel like audio is just as important as the video quality. And if you're not already, these are some tips you can use to enhance your audio when you are filming. The first tip is to use an external microphone like I have here clipped to me. Obviously, there are built-in microphones in phones and cameras, but sometimes the audio just doesn't cut it. It feels like you're far away, you might sound echoey or anything, but if you have a mic clip to you or in hand, it is easy to pick up your voice, exactly what you're saying. You don't sound like you're far away. You come across clear, crisp, all that good stuff. And that's what you want when you're trying to film some videos, especially when you're starting out, because you want to go ahead and start out of the gate with some foundation already, so you can just grow from there. Another thing I would suggest, especially again once you're filming like sit down videos, to avoid any background noise, outside noise. I know that can be difficult because I live with 2 dogs. If they get to barking, I have to put my recording on pause, because I'm filming sit down videos at the moment. You don't need to hear a dog barking in the background, so just make sure you have some type of space, or get to some type of space where you can have as little background noise as possible. And another thing I would suggest is to test your levels of audio, test your video if you want to. Film a little test shot, talk with your mic, see if it's actually picking up your audio. If you need to adjust anything, you can, just 10 seconds of you just talking random things to the camera just to see how you sound. All right, so now you have your footage, you know your audio is good, you check everything is, you know, to your liking. It's time to get into editing. So editing is honestly where the magic happens. It takes out all the ums, the buts, the thought process, the buffering moments where you just like, do I want to say that? So here's some things to keep in mind when you're going to edit your footage. So they always say to start with a strong introduction or a strong hook when it comes to any type of content, which is true. So when you are editing your videos, make sure you have some type of, not catchphrase, but some type of thing like an introduction or, you know, a teaser of what the video is going to be about, or something that happens that like made you laugh or shocks you or whatever. Like put that at the beginning just to have that as a hook to whoever is watching. It's going to get their attention, because you know as time goes on our attention spans get shorter and shorter. So you definitely want to grab whoever you want to watch your video within the first few seconds of watching, so you know they'll actually kind of stick around. You should also, when editing, go ahead and keep in mind that you need to keep your edits kind of tight. Try to cut out any, you know, pauses, any any, you know, buffer moments. I know I've mentioned this before, but like I try to like cut those out so you have more of you talking about what it is that you wanted to talk about, getting your point across, all that stuff. I jumble my words all the time. I all the time, you know, so take all that good stuff out. You don't need it. And if you're just sitting here and you're talking and you're like running through your thoughts, all that stuff as you're talking, just cut all that out, because it's not needed. Keep you talking as much as you can, especially when you're filming like sit down videos like this, because we don't need no pauses. I'm sitting here, you're sitting there, you clicked on this video because you wanted to hear what I had to say. Why am I pausing? Why am I umming? Why am I like in my thought process and buffering when you know you didn't come here for that? So just keep that in mind when you're editing. So when using stuff like transitions in your edits, I wouldn't add them too frequently. I also wouldn't add any dramatic ones. Again, since I'm using the example of creating short sit down videos, since I on this channel provide sit down videos on content creation tips, you don't need a lot of transitions, not a lot of crazy transitions. If you're going through different topics, you're talking about different things, you might want to have a transition talking about a new topic, or a transition from the intro to the outro, or anything like that. But you don't need a transition after every single cut. We don't need a fade to black. We don't need a pop out, pop in. We don't need all that every cut. But if you are talking about a topic and you want to like show that you're moving on along with the video, transition will do. But definitely transitions are something that are not, you don't need a lot of them. You don't need to put them in a whole lot of places. Definitely spread them out. Like I said, if you're talking about a certain topic and you're moving on to a different topic, that is a perfect place to add a transition, but you definitely do not need them every cut. Another thing you can do, and again I say this, but I've seen this on like vlogs and like other lifestyle content as well, but for standalone videos, for sit down videos alone, having music and sound effects is something that can definitely keep people watching if they are watching, because in sit down videos you're not doing as much, you're not going places, you're not trying new things, you're literally just sitting here giving information to people, whether that be tips, inspiration, motivation. Like if you're just sitting here doing a sit down video, you're just talking, it's not a lot that goes with that, whereas you have like vlogs and like other lifestyle content where you're actually doing other things. So incorporating music and like sound effects definitely helps with that. So for example, if I'm doing a sit down video and I want the vibe to be kind of cozy, I already am sitting in a cozy chair, I have cozy lighting behind me. If I'm doing a video and I want to have some, jazz, some cafe music, just real low in the background for you guys, I'll do that. Sound effects, again, going back to the transitions, if you want to put your topic or whatever you're talking about as text on your screen anywhere, you can add like a little pop or a click sound that, lets you know that something's on the screen. And it also just it ties everything in together. I feel like it makes it more, a little bit more immersive. And if you have music in the background, it kind of makes the vibe cozy if you're trying to go for that, certain vibe. So music and sound effects are definitely okay. Just make sure when you do add them, make sure you turn the volume down, because we don't need to be in our element, in our coziness, in our immersiveness, as you will. And have a loud sound come in, because 9 times out of 10, I don't know about y'all, when I'm watching YouTube videos, I'm watching on my phone with earbuds. So having that extra sound turned down to a reasonable volume is definitely good, opposed to having it blasting in my ears. So definitely keep that in mind when you're editing your videos. And I know I just kind of briefly talked about this, but adding text and graphics to your videos are definitely something that can also help you emphasize key points. Like I said, if you're talking about a certain topic, you can have that text on the screen as well, so you can know, so the viewer can know that you're moving on to a different topic, or you're just talking about a certain thing that you want them to kind of understand or get from your video, if that makes sense. But definitely still just keep it simple. Doesn't have to be, you know, a lot. You can also add like a little animation if you want to, but it just doesn't have to be a lot. It's just there to, you know, emphasize whatever it is you're talking about. All right, so now just some things to keep in mind. You filmed your video, you make sure your audio is well, you know, you make sure you have nice lighting, you edited your video to the best of your ability, you're satisfied with it. But before you hit that export button, let's review your video. Watch your video from start to finish. Is there anything else you maybe need to take out? Do you maybe need to turn the music down a little bit? Do you maybe need to add a little bit more text or go make a graphic real quick? How are your transitions? I feel like it's easy, because this is what I do. I feel like it's easy to like miss something when you're, you know, focused on cutting and focused on adding music and all that. Watch it through where, you know, you feel like you're finished, the timer's done, your hands are up, you know, and you just go through it again to see if there's anything you missed, anything that needs tweaking, and if it's to your liking, go to the next step. The next step is color correction and color grading. I have talked a little bit about this on my channel so far. I'm not an expert. I'm still kind of learning the coloring, you know, thing, but okay, what I will say, I add the brightness up a little bit, I add a little contrast, I add a little exposure or brilliance or whatever you want to call it. I do a little stuff, okay? I mess with my hues a little bit. Is it the best? Probably not, but I know it looks better than how it is filmed, if that makes sense. So definitely experiment with that. As I get more experience with color correction and grading, I will definitely come back in here and do a video for you guys. Just experiment with it, see what you like, see what you don't like. Look up some videos, because that's what I do, and, you know, try to figure out how to make something look a little bit more presentable, look a little bit more, you know, put together, professional, if you will. So definitely kind of, you know, go into it. Like I said, I don't know enough to share anything other than what I've already shared on color correction and grading, but I am interested in it and I'm trying to learn it as we speak. So now everything is ready. You've color corrected. Your music volume is at a peak volume, you know. We have our transitions, we have all that good stuff. Your video is fine, your video is perfect, you're ready to export so you can upload it before, you know, it's scheduled to go out. So that being said, when you export, you want to be able to export that video at the highest quality possible, because all that work you did, all that, you know, time that you put into it, you want it to actually be like that. You want the final product to be like that. So when you export it, make sure you export at the highest setting possible, because you definitely want that video to look like the time and effort that you put into it. Alright, and that's all I have for today's video. If you found any of these tips helpful, definitely don't forget to leave me a thumbs up. Comment down below how these tips will help you in your filming and editing phase of your content creation, or if you learned something here, or if you knew all these, what are some other tips and tricks that you use when it comes to filming and editing your videos? What apps do you use? What websites do you use? Let us know. This is a space for new content creators to, you know, kind of find tips and tricks and figure out how to do things on their own as they are learning their own journey as well. And don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more content creation tips and tricks just like this one, and also hit your push notification bell so you don't miss when I post. And I am currently posting here every Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That all being said, thanks again for watching today's video, and I will see you on the next one.